Hey everybody, it's time for another video. As promised in the last video, this week I'm going to be cooking a Thor's hammer. So shin beef on the bone, magnificent piece of beef that we got here from the Beckenham butchery. And it's going to be a bit of a challenge today because it's actually raining here in Christchurch, which is never ideal when you're trying to cook outside. We're going to give it a go. Shin beef on the bone, the joys. If you got to work for a living, you can only do this on the days you can do it. So here I am at the weekend and it's decided to rain. I can't help that. I'm just going to have to get on with it. Those of you who've watched the channel before will know that I flip-flop back and two between binders and no binders. Today I'm going to use just a little bit of mustard as a binder on this because I'm not going to over rub it, but I want it to stick. It's been in the fridge overnight out of the packet that it was in so that it dries out a little bit. We're going to go to do 2 layers of rub. We're going to use some of this Rum and Que Intensify, which is, I used it on the smash burgers last week and it works really well with beef. And I just adds a little bit of a layer of flavour. So this is just a real good, just a general background, sort of salty, yummy, not too much spice or anything, but it just gives it, as you'd expect, intensifies the flavours slightly. Just works really well on beef, just real nice. And top that off with some Sucklebusters espresso for beef, which is sort of a coffee rub, which is also quite subtle. So we'll leave that for a bit now and we're going to see what the fire's doing. It's looking today like it's going to be me battling the elements. The rain's sort of kind of on and off, so just have to see how it goes. As a result of the weather not abating and not giving up, I've had to move around to the other side of the house with the smoker. So as you might be able to see, we're now around the front of the house, the chimney there. Fire's going well now. I don't know if you can see that, but it is in there. I've got the diffuser in today. See the temperature's rocking 158, but it's climbing. It's obviously cooled down because I've had the fire basket out to move the grill round because I have to go up a couple of steps, which we have to sort of bump up. I think I shall go and get the meat and get it on. And here we have our magnificent shin beef, Thor's hammer on the bone. Looks delightful, doesn't it? One of the great things about the Bronco Pro is you've got the grill at 2 heights, so you can either have it on the lower setting there or the higher setting here. I'm sure Peter McKinnon and Matty Hoopier are going to be very pleased with the smoke playing across the scene. So I'll whack the lid down and then go get a probe. So I'm going to put 2 probes in today. I'm going to go one in the thicker part of the meat down the bottom and one in this bit at the top. I might actually go and get some foil and foil the top of the bone to make sure that we don't burn that. So with the old fireboard, it's pretty straightforward, just plug in there for your next input. So as you can see now, this is our pit temp. I'm not sure why it's not saying pit temp. Channel 2 now is at 43, channel 3 at 45, 4, 5 and 6 are empty. So channel 1, that will come up, that's the actual pit temperature, but obviously it's dropped down because the lid's been open. So you can see it's up to 195, I've just had the lid open and I've got it on charge. The battery pack isn't water resistant, but the fireboard is, and I've tidied the cables up a little bit and they're not great, but they're alright. And you can see now that's looking magnificent. Smoke's just coming through, so I'm just going to get a bit of tin foil for the top of that bone to stick a bit in. As I said, I've just got a bit of tin foil to go around the top of that bone. Just to stop that from burning. So I'll leave that now for a couple of hours and then come back and see how it's going. I'll keep my eye on the temperatures and we're going to wrap it at about 180, I think, maybe 160. Wrap it in some butcher's paper and finish it off in the butcher's paper. and then give it a good hour rest and then eat it. I'm also going to cook some mac and cheese later on, smoked mac and cheese. So yeah, that's to look forward to. So the time has come to spritz this. So I've got some lovely beef stock in here, and so you can see it's pulling back beautifully. You want to get an internal temperature of 180 before we wrap. Currently, the internals are 164 and 157, so not far to go, and that'll be ready to wrap. The meat's reached 180 degrees Fahrenheit or thereabouts, 179 I think it is. So I'm going to go and get the shin off the barbecue and bring it around here and wrap it. So here we have our magnificent Thor's hammer on the bone. We are double wrapping. We will now return this beautiful parcel of beef to the smoker and give it another couple of hours. So now that's it put back in, and we're going to leave that on now for another probably couple of hours until the internal temperature gets to 203 Fahrenheit. And then we'll take it off and rest it. In the meantime, I'm going to make some mac and cheese. So look forward to that. It's now time to put this off. I've got the mac and cheese in here now as well. So the mac and cheese is going great. Flip that down, you can see the mac and cheese there. The cheese is beginning to melt, so that's going to be cooking while the meat's resting. So there you have the magnificent Thor's hammer, cooked and ready now for me to strip it. Doesn't that just look fucking magnificent? Oh, shouldn't swear, should I? Look at that. Magnificent. So now we just go through the process of pulling this apart, really, and remove any bits we wouldn't want to eat. The old cotton gloves under the latex gloves is a revelation. Yeah, when you consider, I didn't look at the packet to be honest with you to see what the weight of it with the bone in was, but the bone is quite a weighty bone. Yeah. So, first go at cooking mac and cheese in the skillet in the thing, and it's gone all a bit dry. It was very wet when it went in, but it's come out a bit dry. So that's a bit of a lesson learned. Shin beef is looking spectacular. And if you've enjoyed this video, hit the like button down below. That's the picture of a thumbs up. And if you've really enjoyed it, you could hit the subscribe button. All of that helps the channel. Thanks a lot. See you next time. Ta-da now.